Everyone. Today we're going to be covering um, Module 3, page EX181, the review assignment, which is the soybean. There were a lot of questions about the soybeans and also on the yield and the growth on how you get the formulas. So let's get through that so everybody can figure out how that works. We're going to be focused on the yield side. So we're going to be covering, I've already done the documentation, so we're going to be covering item 3 through 10 of page EX181. So let's get with it on there. So the first one is you need 72 acres. Put that in. It's fairly easy. It's all input right now. So the next one is the number of rows will be 4. The row width will be 7.5. And then the rows will be 21. And then the next thing we do is the number of pods. That's item number 5. It'll be 400. So 400 there. And the next one is 2.5 for B15. So 2.5. All right. So now all it wants is the stuff that we had just put in. It wants us to put that into a input cell style. I like to get it all together at once. And the way you do it is you use your mouse with your left finger and you use control. You'll get the first one and then you just hold control in your left finger, and that's the way you get all those. And you got all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items that you're going to be putting in as input style. And the way you get that is in the ribbon area on the styles. You've got your cell styles, enter, and right into the data and model side, we've got the things that we're going to be doing. And in our case, we're going to be put input. As you notice, it gives you a nice little color there, like a tan color. That's going to be our input side. So we're up to that. Now, we're going to use the equations described in the formula worksheet. If you hadn't had a chance, let's take a quick look at that. For your projects, any projects you make, if you're going to be doing any formulas or functions, you want to tell the people who are looking at these things, this is the formulas that I have used, and you explain to why. And this is a real good area. Your sample area, the size of the sample plot, inches, used to estimate soybean yield to calculate as area. And this is a good way to tell the reader what you have for all your formulas. And you notice they use it for each of your spreadsheets. So you've got one spreadsheet within the workbook. You've got the yield, this one's specific for yield, then you get the ones dealing with growth. So, and we're going to get into GDD side the next time. So let's go back to yield, where we're at, using those formulas. And the first one is calculate the area of the plot sample in inches. And as we saw in the formula below, it's going to be multiplied the rows by width by row length. So the first one will be equal B7 times B8 times B9. There you go. That's 630. The next is in B11, convert the sample area to acres by dividing the value in B10, so equal to B10, divided by H4. That would be that one right there, equal that. It also wants us to display the result to 4 decimal places. So let's do that immediately. You don't want to forget about that because it's going to change your numbers if you don't. So we're going to use number, going to be 4, and off you go. Excellent. The next one is in B16, the total seeds. And all this one is, we're multiplying B14 times B15. So let's do that in there. Equals B14 times B15. That should be 1,000, which it is. The next one, B17, we're going to divide the numbers in B16, divide that by H5, the 3,000s there. So we'll equal that, divided by that amount, equal that, divide by that amount. And that also, that wants us to have in 2 decimals. So let's put, hold on, that wants us to be in 17. Display the value in 2 decimals. That's right. Number 2. Okay. The next one, bushels. We're going to do the pound, the weight, and we're going to use equal by the total pounds there unto 1 bushel, which is pounds of soybean in 1 bushel is 60. So we're going to divide that by 60. And here we're going to use in 4 decimals. 4 decimals. Excellent. And then B19, that's going to be the estimate the farm soybean yield per acre by dividing the number of bushels to a plot sample. So here we're going to do the same item here. It's going to be B18. B18 goes B18 divided by B11, which is the area in acres. So let's use that amount there. And that wants us to be as an integer. And there's 2 ways you can do this. You can either have it as an integer in the middle there, or an integer, you can go to format and say, I want the number, no decimals. And that's the same thing. All right. So we're done with 7F. Now we're going to go into 8A. We're going to cell B20. That's your average, historic average. And that's for all the items on row E. So if they want us to round it, equal round and average let's see, that's E. And we're not quite done yet with that because it's asking us for the number in digits. We're going to it want us to keep it at an integer. So it'll be 0. Again, without the 0. It's not giving you any decimals. And that comes up with 49, which is the right answer. Same with the median. All we're doing here with median, it's the median with column E. So median E to E. and that's 51. And now we're done with number 8. For number 9, apply the calculation style to the range B 10, 11, 16 through 21, and 24 through 25. So the same thing, you highlight those items that you got there. Make sure that's all the input we got. Oh, wait a minute. We didn't 21. I'm sorry. We didn't do the total yield. Total yield, let's get to that first. 8C, I went a little ahead of ourselves there. So 8C in cell B24, calculate the farm's total production of seed soybeans in bushels by multiplying the bushels by acre. What we're going to do here is all it is B4, which is your total acres times the estimated bushels per acre. So let's get that equals B4 times B19. And that also wants that in an integer. So let's comment here, format. I like to put it into the numbers without using an integer, just bring it down to 0. That way there's no questions of how much you have here. And then your total revenue, what we're going to do here is it's going to multiply your total yield by 87, which is your total dollar market price per bushel, which is 887. So we're going to multiply those two together. So equal this amount times this one, times, as in that, times those two. There we go. And we're done up to item number 8. 9, now we're going to do the calculations. And that's where we're going to highlight all the B items that we're going to do calculations. And how do we get to the calculations? We're going to go right into the cell styles, and right in the data and model area, you've got the calculations. These are the items that you're going to use for your calculations. That's in there. And now, for the last part, we're going to do the our goal seek. And the way you get goal seek is you go to data in your revenue side and your ribbon side. You got what if analysis in the forecast side, and you got goal seek. And what are we looking for? Determine the value in cell B4 by changing, so that's what number we're looking at, B4, by changing that cell number. Because we want to make our soybean revenue, total revenue, set that to B25. We're going to set that value to $40,000 by changing the value in that we had for 72 earlier, not B4. So we're going to be using B4. So let's see if that works. And it does. Comes out, and you've got $40,000, and your total soybean crop acres is 81.526. That's how many acres you need in order to make revenue of $40,000. That's it for this spreadsheet. Hope that's what you were looking at, and I'll see you the next time.